The Life Application Study Bible, King James Version, published by Tyndall House Publishers Incorporated, Carroll Stream, Illinois, provides 131 personality profiles of biblical characters, Old and New Testaments. The personality profiles of biblical characters whose roles in the Bible were either support to those who were direct descendants or themselves were direct descendants in the genealogy of Jesus. Their personality profiles included strengths and accomplishments, weaknesses and mistakes, lessons from their lives. Personality profiles are in alphabetical, not chronological order. I am following the alphabetical list of personality profiles. However, I will include significant information about each one. Cain's personality profile. Conflicts between children in a family seem inevitable. Sibling relationships allow both competition and cooperation. In most cases, the mixture of loving and fighting eventually creates a strong bond between brothers and sisters. It isn't unusual to hear parents say, "They fight so much, I hope they don't kill each other before they grow up." In Cain's case, the troubling potential became a tragedy. Cain got angry, furious. Both he and his brother Abel had sacrificed to God, and he had been rejected. Cain's reaction suggests that his attitude was probably wrong from the start. Cain had a choice to make. He could correct his attitude about his sacrifice to God or take out his anger on his brother. His decision is a clear reminder of how often we are aware of opposite choices yet choose the wrong one, just as Cain did. We may not choose to murder, but we still intentionally choose what we shouldn't. The feelings motivating our behavior can permanently be changed by simple thought power. But here, we can begin to experience God's willingness to help. Asking for His help to do what is right can prevent us from doing what we will later regret. Strengths and accomplishments. First human child. First to follow in father's profession, farming. Weaknesses and mistakes. When disappointed, he reacted in anger. Took the negative option even when a positive possibility was offered. Was the first murderer. Lessons from his life. Anger is not necessarily a sin. Actions motivated by anger can be sinful. Anger should be the energy behind good action, not an evil action. What we offer to God must be from the heart, the best we are and have. The consequences of sin may last a lifetime. Vital statistics. Where, near Eden, which was probably located in present-day Iraq or Iran. Occupation, farmer, then nomad. Relatives, parents, Adam and Eve, brother Abel, Seth, and others not mentioned by name. Key verses, "If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door." Genesis 4 verse 7. Cain's story is told in Genesis 4 verses 1 to 17. He is also mentioned in Hebrews 11 verse 4, 1 John 3 verse 12, and Jude 1 verse 11. Abel's personality profile. Abel was the second child born into the world, but the first one to obey God. All we know about this man is that his parents were Adam and Eve. He was a shepherd, and he presented pleasing sacrifices to God. His life was ended by his jealous older brother, Cain. The Bible doesn't tell us why God liked Abel's gift and disliked Cain's, but both Cain and Abel knew what God expected. Only Abel obeyed. Throughout history, Abel is remembered for his obedience and faith, Hebrews 11 verse 4, and he is called righteous, Matthew 23 verse 35. The Bible is filled with God's general guidelines and expectations for our lives. It is also filled with more specific directions. Like Abel, we must obey regardless of the cost and trust God to make things right. Strengths and accomplishments. The first member of the Hall of Faith in Hebrews 11. First shepherd. First martyr for truth, Matthew 23 verse 35. Weaknesses and mistakes. None were included. Lessons from his life. God hears those who come to him. God recognizes the innocent person and sooner or later punishes the guilty. Vital statistics. Where, just outside of Eden. Occupation, shepherd. Relatives, parents, Adam and Eve, brother, Cain. Key verses. By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by it, he being dead yet speaketh, Hebrews 11 verse 4. Abel's story is told in Genesis 4 verses 1 to 8. He is also mentioned in Matthew 23 verse 35, Luke 11 verse 51, Hebrews 11 verse 4, and 12:24. Cain and Abel, Book of Genesis 4 verses 1 to 16. Genesis 4 verses 4 to 16 describes the incident between Adam and Eve's oldest son, Cain, and their youngest son, Abel. The incident occurred because Cain did not have God's warning to give a more acceptable offering. If not, sin stands at the door. Instead, Cain became jealous of Abel's offering, took him into a field, and murdered him. Cain's action was premeditated. When God questioned Cain about the whereabouts of his brother, Abel, Cain's response was, "Am I my brother's keeper?" God says, 11 So now you are cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. 12 When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield strength to you. A fugitive and a vagabond you shall be on the earth. Genesis 4 verses 11 to 12, New King James Version. Points to ponder. God does not speak to Adam or Eve after the fall in the Garden of Eden. God speaks to their sons, Cain and Abel. Thought: every man must develop their own relationship with God. God did not respect Cain's offering. God warned Cain, thereby allowing him to give a more respectable offering. But instead, Cain became angry and then jealous of Abel. When God is extending grace, why do we instead become angry with God or jealous of our brothers/sisters who chose to be obedient? God questioned Cain about the whereabouts of Abel. Cain's response to God was disrespectful. Do you think Adam and Eve explained to their sons why, disobedience, God removed them from the Garden of Eden? Do you think because Cain was born out of a sinful nature, sins of his parents, he was susceptible to sin, disrespect towards God? Do you ever wonder why God did not end the world after Cain's sin?
Next week's personality profile will be on Abigail, the wife of Nabal. This story stresses that we should make sure that we marry well, it could save our lives one day. Her key verse is, "And David said to Abigail, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, which sent thee this day to meet me, and blessed be thy advice, and blessed it be thou, which hast kept me this day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself with my own hand." 1 Samuel 25 verses 32 and 33. If you have any comments or questions, put them down below under comments and I will get back to you. If you are enjoying and learning from this study, hit the like button below and click on the subscribe button. You will receive notifications when my next study is posted. I appreciate your watching my YouTube channel. Sister Lydia Ward.